Welcome to Mereak Firmaxe Rebuilds Moria. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe below. Episode 13, The General Store and Merchant's House. Alright, this is what I call the General Store and Merchant's House. The Merchant's House is up on top and the General Store is on bottom. Normally there'd be a countertop here. I had already cleared it out. I usually do that to harvest ironwood because I have the enchant already. Obviously this model can be placed in multiple locations because if you look at it, it's against the wall, so the windows really don't make sense. But the way it's procedurally generated and the houses are placed, the models are generic. Now there are pieces here that are missing, the small archways, the larger archways in the new games are gone. I'm fighting hard to get them restored, particularly because I've noticed they do not affect building. Okay, so that's what the old model looks like. And here I am back in the Elven Quarter, if you've watched my other videos in this series. And I'm going to rebuild this model. I'm doing these, by the way, in case it wasn't obvious, because as you're rebuilding Moria, you'll come across rooms that don't have anything in them. And also sometimes these buildings get seriously destroyed or knocked down and you're like, well, I don't understand what goes in that spot or that area. And these videos are supposed to help with that. Alright, so we are putting up a raised foundation because this is one of those buildings that always comes on a raised foundation. I'm using adamant for that. I've built an area around the edge, including a very nice looking, granite barrier with some pattern carved into it. Looks really good. And I'm trying to keep everything as flat as humanly possible, as even as humanly possible. Because the tighter your joints and the flatter they are, and the more even they are, the less likely you are to have build issues. So it's highly recommended that you take your time, and you will become more practiced over time and become faster. But if you see a problem, might as well destroy it and take care of it right then and there. Alright. So now that the foundation's done, I'm going to lay out the particular pattern on the floor. This one has an interesting pattern made of individual blocks, and they've greatly improved the efficiency of these blocks in linking to them, making sure that they're even, but that doesn't mean it's always perfect. So I will rapidly lay these, take a look at what is out of alignment, delete those, and replace them. This pattern is only observed in the old model, and I'm doing my best to replicate it here. Now you could just put down a solid floor, it doesn't matter. I will say that the more pieces you use, the lower your performance in the game and the area that you're building in will be. So there may be a good reason then to use a single tile instead of a larger collection of tiles. But I am trying to mirror what is being done in the game. I would tell you that you should use the larger number of pieces whenever possible. I also started building on straight foundations instead of on top of the granite floor created above the foundation. I think it gives a tighter fit. Here you see me deleting the ones that look slightly off track, where there's physical gaps. And sometimes your perspective does matter, so please pay attention to your perspective. It's worth your while taking your time and making sure everything's in alignment up front. The pattern on this particular floor is intricate. Again, I did it to mirror the actual build. I would not recommend doing this often because the more pieces you use, the current build system, it affects performance. And I build large builds, obviously, if you've watched my videos, of thousands of pieces at a time. And that is an issue. It can slow down a particular slower PC or environment. Though at this time I am trying to stress the limits to give feedback for the devs. You see me trying to figure out how to put an alcove or a cubbyhole underneath the stairs, but keeping it even. And I actually was not able to figure out how to do that because the adamant aligns flat and square, but the granite does not. And so that is different than the game. And I tried a number of different things here to get it to move flat, and I wasn't able to, which is disappointing. But that's fine. Lots of the models in the game obviously are built with different tools than we as gamers have, and I don't need to build an exact replica. I just need to build something that's close. So I've given up on trying to make it an alcove, which is in the actual model, and I'm just going to make it solid and move forward. Though after I built this, I thought about using the granite archway. Wouldn't be exact, but it could have helped if I removed the foundation underneath and put a floor on the top of it, but oh well. Something for a later build. Because the decoration on the outside of this building uses full height columns, which are actually better for performance, I'm going to dress up the bottoms of them with the foundation pieces for the column, or the bottom pieces for the column. I think it'll look good. You could of course use the top part if you want less of a lip in between the dress up and the bottom, but I like it like this. I believe these wall pieces are in the game. I lose track since I have over 40 worlds now that I have completed. This one's not complete, but and I created it just for this game to show you the build. I'm trying to convince the devs that the build system isn't affected in the way they thought by the build pieces, because I really want them back. I think they add so much flair and yeah, they just add so much to be able to decorate appropriately. Don't forget to make an alignment of the blocks from left to right so everything's square and even when you're building. Can't stress that enough. I've seen some folks that have been building and their stuff falls down and everything's out of alignment and skewed and nothing's touching. That's pretty much why. This is an unusual architectural feature. There is a hole in the center of the building, like a skylight. Um, I'm going to recreate it because I want to be accurate to the models, or as least as I can get to be accurate to the models. Now, the three-piece is not in the new game. There's individual pieces. But I suggest using the largest piece you can every time you build. With the changes to the build system in 1.3.4 or whatever, this works great. Again, trying to replicate a floor pattern in the model itself, waiting for it to be even. If it's not even, you just have to destroy it and do it again. Don't forget to wiggle the pieces till they're in proper alignment. Alignment is key. So not only does perspective matter, order matters as well. So in this instance, I wanted those railings embedded in the archways, but the archways going in first wouldn't work. And so not only does perspective, but order makes a difference. And so you can get things to work if you try doing it in a different order, because it's based on the rendering of the environment, and which is why you change perspective, you change point of view, you change the order of what you're building, and you can get things to work just well. Now, I'm sure there's some folks out there that other systems are very forgiving, but remember, this system is built to emulate somewhat of a reality when it comes to gravity. You know, you can't build things in the middle of the air. That's not the way this works. This build is full of pillars. I actually like them. I'm using the largest pillars I can since they're single objects. Helps with performance. Obviously, these arches aren't the same that are in the game. The arches that are in the game that are commonly used in all these builds don't exist for players. Again, it's something I'd like to see added. Now, I'm not a game designer. I'm a software engineer that's a protocol backend data type of engineer. So I don't understand the nuances of the Unreal Engine or graphics or anything like that. But I can tell you that I have a lot of respect for the people that do this work. It is hard work. Um, it is sometimes thankless work. Of course, so is the work that I and my employees do. But so please be patient. I do want to make sure that they know that I what I want and why I want it. Um, and I really enjoy this game. I think that's obvious given the amount of videos I have. I think I've already gotten over 100 videos. I could be wrong, but a lot of time over the last year. Yeah, I was telling some folks last night, I've played other games. Obviously, I have a large collection on Steam. Only started recording these for my grandson. But over time, I've noticed that some games you play, like Baldur's Gate was great. It was a good game, very, very complete game, worked as designed, very few bugs and issues. I have to commend that team. That's very hard to do given the large complexity of it. But other games are built by smaller teams, and they have to very much pick and choose what they do while remaining profitable, which is the point, right? Because an investor wants to know that they're remaining profitable because they want the profit off of the game. This game is built with a small team, and it is excellent when it comes to paying attention to the lore and the story and the inner workings of the game. The team is very responsive. I know they do several projects at a time, But I am extremely impressed with what they've done. Doesn't mean I'm not going to ask for the things that I want, like the building pieces back and more building pieces, because for me, that's what the game is. And I think for you, if you're actually watching this video, it is for you as well. Looks like I had some DoorDash visiting us. So bringing dinner. That's convenient. Don't forget to give that above perspective. It helps with alignment, make sure everything's flat. Oh, look at all that. All the wolves that wanted to pay us a visit and become dinner. Flat and even, flat and even. Delete what's not flat and even. You'll save yourself a lot of headache and things falling apart later. Alright, I've left a little balcony there. I've got the inside hole that goes right to the bottom to let in some light. Everything's nice and flat and even. So now I'm putting on a floor. The floor is meant to make everything flat and even when it comes to assembling the roof. Now, obviously, the stuff in the center is not supported all the way to the floor. Normally, in construction, you would have support. All joists and rafters are directly above supporting posts or studs. They should align perfectly, and that's not what we see here. Um, you're going to get some yellow pieces. That's fine. Um, just means there's not as much support as you'd like them to have, but that's okay. Now, I do know that these small pillars are going to poke through the roof. It's an accent piece, and so I'm trying to replicate those as best I can.
Quiet. I see prey ahead.
This balcony is an architectural feature. I think some of the pieces I'm using, the combined pieces with the posts and the railing, aren't in the game anymore, but you can use the individual posts and individual railings. And again, I remind myself, well, I'm going to have to put down the railing before I have to put down the archway because of the collision. So we're going to pay attention to that. Beautiful. Looking good. Again, these pieces here are architectural only on the original model. They poke through the roof, so you want them in alignment. You know, accent pieces, there are many builders here that are very good at using pieces in unusual ways to provide accents to make things pop or stand out. I'm not that creative. I wish I was, but I'm not. Uh, I build things for structural integrity and efficiency, but I'm stealing as much as I can from my fellow builders to really augment my building. Steal means strategically transfer equipment to alternate location, by the way. And the equipment in this instance is the building materials. Make sure they're tight and there's no gaps between them and the floor. These are much harder to put in after the fact. In fact, because of the order of things, it might not even be possible. So take your time. Take your time. Alright, we're going to add the roof here. Um, this roof is made of adamant, which is different than the other roofs, which is made of stone shingles. So just beware, I'm trying to replicate the environments as we see them in the game, and in this instance, adamant is what is used. Trying to get these to align properly is not always easy, not even by a stretch. Alright, roof is complete. Now we're changing things out to make sure that everything matches the original look and feel of the actual build. We'll add a little countertop since it's a merchant residence and shop. I noticed that the designs in this game were very much reminiscent of the old style shops from when I was a kid, where people lived above the store that they operated. I always thought that was cool. Lining it's not always easy. I take references from what's around it. So here we're going to add a little bit of wood decoration, filigree, something that stands out. Try to mirror as best I can the game builds. Sometimes I find it easier to place the DoorDash has arrived. Sometimes I find it easier to place the lattices, and then things snap to the wood snaps to the lattices, particularly the columns. Makes things a lot easier. add the missing columns all the way around to make things nice, even, and uniform. So this is interesting. Sometimes it's what's behind a wall that's causing the interference. So you have to delete it and move on. Alright, just took one last look at the original model. Gonna make some final adjustments to make sure it matches as close as I can. This arch isn't there. That's completely open, so I'll remove that. And there's an opening here that's an open top with a post that I did not originally see. So I'll fix that now. Adding a little more of that lattice and filigree, wooden filigree to, fill in the gaps with the appropriate posts. Again, putting in the lattice first allows things to click. And if I haven't opened in this world, I haven't opened the furnishings part of the plaques, or I'd put a plaque up there. That would look really nice, actually. But oh, missed a piece of roof. I'm trying to build these as quickly as I can. An average building takes somewhere between 40 and 80 minutes to be very close. Looks good. Well, thank you for watching the Merchant's General Store and House. Thank you for watching Mereak Firmaxe Rebuilds Moria. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe below. Episode 13, The General Store. and Merchant's House.